We're back on Craft and compel your audience. I'm excited today because I want to talk about the future story. I think that it's really all that matters to your prospects and to your people and to your partners. When any of us as humans are making a decision to invest our time, our money, our efforts, what we think about is how is this going to impact my future? Now, let's take this on the micro and then let's look at it on the macro. So, on the micro, what we're talking about is, I choose to have some trail mix here. And when I eat the trail mix, what I'm thinking about is that this is going to make it better for me in an hour when I'm hungry, which is the future, if I eat this now. Or if I choose to eat this instead of a Snickers candy bar, it helps my body stay alive longer in the future than eating the Snickers every time. Every decision we make has an impact on our future, whether that future is 30 seconds from now, 5 minutes from now, or 30 years from now. So just keep in mind as we talk about this that every decision you're making has an impact on your future. And for a lot of people, they're making decisions in the micro moments that are going to impact their future. Now, let's shift this over to business. Whenever a prospect, let's start there, is making a decision on whether they want to invest their time and their money into something that you're selling them, what you have to consider is how is my product going to create a better future than the one they already have without your product? Because that's what they're evaluating. And as we all know, we run into people sometimes that just can't see it. They can't understand that our product will create a better future path for them than what they're on now, but they're not open to hearing. But for most people, if we create enough urgency, we create enough interest, we really create a great outbound messaging process using marketing, using our website, using digital assets, we can help them understand that we have a future for them that they desire. Now, in order to do that, I have to know exactly where they are. I have to know what their story is. What are the challenges they have? What are the things they're trying to accomplish? What are they up against? As some people call it, what's their pain? What's the problem they're trying to solve? What's the crisis that they're in? Because it doesn't matter what future I have for them if I can't speak to what they're going through right now or what they're trying to solve for right now. If we talk about our internal people, every single person within your organization, whether an executive leader, they're a manager, they're an entry level brand new employee, whatever it might be, they are there because they thought when they took the job that it would create a better future for them. Now, in order to retain our employees, we have to show them that we're helping them get to the future they desire, the better future that they desire by working with us instead of leaving us for a competitor. And that's an ongoing development in the process. With our partners, with our customers, we have to help them see that they want to continue to work with us. In fact, that we have other services that can create an even better future for them. And we can learn these things by asking questions of our customers and of our internal people. We can ask them, tell me what has changed in your life for your future since working here or working with us or buying our product. We can also ask, like, what is considered a win now? What's considered losing now? Those kind of questions that you can ask. Now, I would tell you that number one, that we want to start with what change needs to happen for a better future. So whether we're talking about our prospects and we need to help them see the change that needs to occur in their world in order to get the better future, whether we're talking about our internal people, a change in their walk and the way they operate in the KPIs they're going after in order for them to be successful in their role and hit their numbers and hit their mark, hit their metrics, that if they'll make those changes, then we can help them get to a better future. We don't lead with the problem. We don't lead with our features and our functions and our benefits. No, we start with what needs to be changed in order to reach the better future. And I think that to give you kind of an example of that, I think that at Craft and Compel, what we understand is that it's extremely difficult to engage a remote workforce externally as they are out there globally. How do you create culture? It's extremely difficult to engage a prospect that potentially is remote or is in a hybrid situation. And it is extremely difficult to keep our customers engaged with us so that they don't leave and go to our competitors. And in order to accomplish all three of those, our prospects and our people and our partners and our customers, we have to make sure that we're using the proper messaging. So the change that has to happen is, how are we thoughtfully and intentionally engaging our people, our prospects, and our partners? The change that has to happen is, are we using the right narrative and the right story to show them that they will have a better future working with us? So that's what we do for organizations. If you think about your product and your service, a lot of times, and if you tune in on Thursdays, it's tell me a story. They come on and they're telling us a narrative. They're telling us a story. And what you're going to find with a lot of people is they always start with their own story. Hey, let me tell you the problems that we solve. Let me tell you exactly what we do here. Let me tell you how we're making, we're making a shift in people's lives just like you. But we'll start with the change. We'll start with the change that Craft and Compel was started because we recognized that employees, that the people, that prospects, the partners and customers, they didn't feel engaged. They didn't feel like that their employer, that their partner in business, or the salespeople or marketing people reaching out to them were engaging them in a way that was intentional. And so we started to say, hey, look, we need more strategic messaging, strategic storytelling. And that's why we kicked off Craft and Compel. And I saw in my own life that I had a gift of engaging people in an intentional way, that they did more for me, that they stayed with me longer, they were loyal, that they worked harder. And so when I recognized that, I thought, man, companies are missing the mark, that if they would just change some of the narratives internally, they would just change some of the messaging externally, if they would just look at the way that they are checking in with their customers and spending time with them, that quite frankly, they could keep these people for a much longer time than the average life cycle, for a customer, for a or for an employee is, 12 to 18 months. So we have to start with, what is the change? Number two, we have to explain how if they will disrupt their status quo, it will help them achieve the better future. So a lot of us are on this plane of, I'll tell you a quick story, but when in Rome, when the chariots would pull these business carts around, these carts full of herbs and spices, maybe, bricks and wood, machinery, these different pieces, when they would pull them through the streets, the streets were so hard that they actually would create ruts inside the street. So I want you to think of almost a railroad track, right? They go the same path every single time. Okay, we got to get in those ruts, and we got to go, and we got to go. And I think organizations tend to do that they don't break the status quo. I love, near and dear to my heart, the Sales Rebellion, Dale Dupree and Jeff Allegas and Jeremiah Griffin over there. And they talk a lot about disrupting the status quo of sales. And I'm a huge believer in, how do we disrupt the status quo? And how can we show them that when we disrupt the status quo, then we don't get status quo results? And in terms of what we're talking about today, you will get a better future than the one that is planned now if you'll disrupt the status quo and either partner with our organization long-term, having honest conversations internally as a person of, what is the future you want? How do you want to be developed? Get better results as a customer if you can tell us what you're up against, and if there's other services or other strategic partners we have to help you grow. Or as a prospect, hearing that if they'll disrupt the way they're doing things now, and I could pinpoint what they're going through that I know is going to be a struggle for them, that's going to be a crisis for them, and show them that if they were to look at our product, our services, or work with us, that it creates a better future, then I can impact all those groups. But it starts with showing them that disrupting the status quo is the key to getting the better future. Now, I want to make sure you've heard me right. Starting with what change needs to happen for the better future. Explain how disrupting the status quo can help them achieve the better future. Notice we haven't even talked about ourselves. So when you think about building out a sequence or a cadence or an outbound, messaging matrix, think about it in terms of we always want to lead with ourselves every time. And if we would lead with our audience more often, people would engage with us more often. And that goes for our website, that goes for our content, it goes for our emails, it goes for our phone calls, it goes for all of it. And so number 3, share your skills, your strengths, your special differentiation, your secret sauce, if you want to call it that help companies get to the better future. So this is the moment now you can share some of those things. Why? Because we talked about here's the change that needs to occur, and this is why we started the organization. This is why we're committed to this. 2, if we continue down the status quo, this is what we get. But if we disrupt the status quo, then the outcomes create a better future than what we're in, if that's what you want. And then lastly, let me share with you some of the skills and the strengths and the benefits of our product or service that can help you get to that better future, that has helped others get to that better future. And the conversation at that point really will take off, because in that moment, they're going to start asking more questions of your product and of your service. Because why? Because they're thinking about that future. They're thinking, if I keep doing what I'm doing now, I get future A. But if I partner with this organization, I have the opportunity for future B. What this also does, and I want to make sure you hear this clearly, what it also does is it gets to know faster as well. It gets to not right now, or this isn't the future that we want. And that's okay, because our goal should be getting to know yes or no almost as quickly as possible in a meaningful way, because that is what helps us be able to know exactly the needs of our people, of our prospects, and of our customers. If we can get to, no, it's not exactly what I want, or no, I don't think that's the future that we want, then we're able to then ask more deep, high-level questions, secondary questions to show that we care. Okay, well, what is the future that you want? Oh, you're tracking right on that. Man, that's great. I think we don't want to be an enhancement. So when we hear of the future they want and they're on course to get to that future, it's not a good fit, and that's okay. So I want to challenge you to start thinking about the future story first. The future story first. Not your story and how you're gonna say it, and these new words that you decided to come up with. You need to think about, when you're reading through, the sales enablement playbooks, is how does this help our buyer create a better future than what they have now? When you start looking through your learning and your development, and you're having one-on-ones and you're having team meetings, you need to be thinking about, how am I helping my people get a better future, receive a better future, go in and create a better legacy and future working with me, alongside my team, under me potentially, and developing you to become that by listening, by really tuning into what they have to get that better future. And then lastly, our customers, which you've heard the phrase is, the customer we have is more important than the one that we don't. But I don't feel that way in our current culture and ecosystem. I think we have a lot of turn and burn. So we need to take special attention to say, how are we impacting our customers, intentionally engaging them so that they can what? Tell our story for us. So they can tell others the better future path that they're on because they're working with us, and you'll see your referrals increase. Once again, don't forget, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday. This Thursday, we'll have Alex Smith, from an account executive over at Docebo. Come on. He's going to talk a little bit about the story that he shares, and super enlightening. Really, his storytelling is strategic stories, where he has to worry about two audiences. He has to worry both about his buyer and about the end user. So you can catch us here every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Remember, the future story is what you care about, is what I care about. It's what we're all evaluating in our heads, even though we can't maybe communicate that at times. So if you're in sales, or you're in leadership, or you're in customer success management, just understand that that is what your audience is considering every single day. Every decision they make is, does this help me create a better future. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.